Alright, welcome back to Super Ultra Budget Magic Online. Today I'm playing Modern. Playing my Black Vehicles deck. This is a deck that I just officially built last night. This is a hand that I can definitely keep. I'm going to go ahead and get a Vault Scourge out. Alright. I've never had to pay Phyrexian mana with this before. Oh, ouch. He's got just the right counter for that one. Okay. But that way he does not have the spell snare for the Smuggler's Copter, which I only have one of in my hand. Oh, he's holding up counters. Guess I'm in for it. Has he got another counter? Remand. Okay, that's fine. At least I've still got a copter. He's just playing draw go. Check that out. And I'll just work my way up. Sword Point Diplomacy. I think I like this card more every time I play it. So much power. You can deal your opponent 9 damage. You can draw 3 cards for 3 mana. Or a little of each. The more common thing that I see is that I'll either draw 2 or 3 cards. Looks like they're letting this one go and seeing what I've got. And I've got 2 Smuggler's Copters right now. Cannot complain about that. They did not want to play against the Night Market Lookout. The Lookout ends up being a really sweet card. It's one that is underappreciated in Standard right now. The ideal home for it is certainly the Smuggler's Copter, but there are lots of great places for it. I'm playing against some serious Draco magic. This is quite a deck that he's got. I've got a low enough curve and enough card draw that I could keep this pretty interesting. Once I get something to stick on the battlefield. I'm curious to see what else is up my opponent's sleeve. They are left without any mana now. So I'll try again for a copter and see if it'll stick finally. We have yet to see what they're doing with red. I would assume some lightning bolts, since we're in modern. And that's going to be an important answer for the Smuggler's Copter. I almost wonder if it would be worth including the Smuggler's Copter in my Gideon Tribal deck. That's not one that I have. That's one that I have built for paper, but not online. And that could be a pretty sweet option. Let's see if I can get something to stick here. So I'm a big fan of dumping all my stuff out onto the battlefield and then attacking when I'm playing online because of all the permissions and the back and forth that you do. I think it allows for me to play more efficiently, and I find that I'm less likely to run out the clock that way. And I somehow went right past my attack phase. I don't know where or when that happened. Not the way that I meant for things to happen. Or untap target. Permanent. Alright, well, if that was sitting up their sleeve, I guess it doesn't really matter that I missed my step. Whatever. Alright, so I'm missing stuff. At least I've got my lands out. That's part of why I want to go ahead and cough things up on the battlefield. Oh, they're going bigger. Kiki Jiki. And he does have haste. You may tap or untap target permanent. So I believe this is infinite. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like I used to see more Kiki Jiki stuff right in and around the time that Splinter Twin was banned. And this may be the first Kiki Jiki deck I've actually seen online. It is certainly effective. Everything's got haste, so he's got me here. I'm gonna let him go ahead and work through his combo, though. I like to be able to make sure that I've got my mechanics correct when I'm trying to go through some of the things. Making a bunch of Pestermites is probably easier than some of the combos that people try to pull off, but we'll let him work through it. He's got me here, though. And this was turn 6, so really not all that aggressive in terms of how quickly he killed me off, and he did need some control along the way for doing that. He's kept a very full hand, and I am starting to debate with myself about what I want to bring in from the sideboard. I think I may want to put in some discard. This deck, being such a budget option, has got some atypical discard up its sleeve. You're usually going to see Inquisition of Kozilek, Thoughtseize, and I think those would work okay here. I think that the alternative options that I have, which are financially less expensive, are probably going to be just as effective against the deck that I'm playing. So I've got some Blackmail. There's one copy of that in the main board as well. And I've also got some Wrench Mind. Not seeing any artifacts in the opponent's deck, so that should be fine. I don't think I've had a chance to actually play any Fleet Wheel Cruisers yet. Walk the Plank is a sorcery, and I'm just now recognizing that. The Victim and Knight would be certainly more helpful here. So I'm going to Ratchet Bomb if they go infinite. Sacrifice, destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters. So when they swing, I can pop it and have a board wipe, but it does not destroy the sources. So I'm actually going to leave that alone. The Victim of Night I'll bring in since that is instant. And the Blackmail. Try to empty my opponent's hand of some of those goodies. As for what to drop, I think Kingmaker is going to be less efficient. Fleet Wheel Cruiser. I'm going to dump my Dragsters. And Pack Rats, I think, are going to be less effective against this deck. You can certainly overwhelm your opponent with those, but it does take a little bit of time sometimes, and with my opponent, it's more likely to be all or nothing, so I will set those on the side for now. Yes, I will play first. Not my most aggressive hand, but I'll work with it. Nice to see my opponent mulligan. That's a good sign. I hate to mulligan, and my opponent's already down to 5. And with me having a decent bit of discard, that has potential to put me in some pretty good footing. So I'll draw go this time and let him wonder what I'm up to. Besides killing stuff, there doesn't seem to be a whole ton of interaction from black decks. Serum Visions, I'm starting to wonder if we might start to see that replaced with Opt in Modern, now that it's Modern legal. If I remember right, Opt is instant. I'm just looking it up right now. I will go ahead and play a Pain Seer. That'll get me some card advantage online. Pass turn. Yeah, Opt is an instant, so that's good. I wonder if that's going to start replacing Serum Visions. The other one that you see less often than Serum Visions is Sleight of Hand. They each have their advantages. I think I like Sleight of Hand a little better than Serum Visions. Nice. I guess he might have a counter for this, especially with his spell snares that he was playing last time. If not, this is probably going to hurt him. And if you want to look on the bright side, even if he does have a counter, he has to discard one of his cards. So that is still a helpful move for him. Tempo-wise, I am not going to pay for it because I don't have enough. And I'll attack with the Pains here. Start with some card draw. When I've played with Spell Pierce, I haven't been that effective with it. I never seem to have the mana up at the appropriate times for the tempo move. Nice. The Swamp was the one that I drew off the Pain Seer, and the Smuggler's Copter is what I took for the turn. That's a good place to be. Countering it. All right. Okay. Good, I didn't go past my other main phase. And that helps me here. I would have been able to tap down my second Pain Seer with the Smuggler's Copter if that hadn't been countered. but I do have the Pain Sears out, and that's going to be some significant card advantage. Echoing Truth, return target. Ooh, that's perfect for him. Okay, puts both the Pain Sears back in my hand. And here we will switch it up. I want the card advantage, so I'm going for the Pain Sear instead of the Pack Rat. Definitely out-tempoing me at this point, but it's only sitting on, well, we're up to 4 mana now, but no red. Kiki Jiki, I think, just has the 1 red in its mana cost, so that might not set them back too far. I haven't seen any of my removal yet. I'm going to dump the Vault Scourge. Would be nice to have some lifelink for the sake of countering the effects of my Pain Sears. But it looks like my opponent's going to give it to me all or nothing, so I may do just fine with the Pain Sears. Okay. So with that, I can't swing for lethal on my next turn. And my opponent's getting there in terms of their mana. So might as well chuck a Blood-Soaked Champion. Here I can swing for 10 if he doesn't have a response. If he's got an Echoing Truth again, that would hurt pretty bad with the Pack Rats. It is a Deceiver Exarch. Okay, and he shouldn't be able to play Kiki Jiki on his next turn. But he can swing in with the Exarch. Tapping down the Pain Sear is less helpful than tapping down the Pack Rats in this situation, because either way there should be untapping next turn, and he would have prevented more damage that way. That was game 2, so we're going to game 3, and I will leave my sideboard as is. didn't really see too much of it, but I think this is probably a little better build for now. The Liliana that I've got there, it's just one copy in the main deck, and that ends up having the potential to be another major. I can keep this, yeah. That does have the potential to be another major card advantage engine if I can stick it. So my opponent is leading with red. I assume they're wanting to go ahead and kill something with that. So I would want to lead with probably my Blood-Soaked Champion if I were using a creature first. But this way I know that he doesn't have a counter for a non-creature spell. So I will go ahead and lead off with Blackmail. Simian Spirit Guide, it's good to know that that is being shown to me, and I'm actually going to make my opponent dump a land. If my opponent was about to flood, that's exactly what they're looking for. But at least I know about the Simian Spirit Guide now. So we'll dump an island and pass turn. So they're not hurting for blue, and they're probably going to leave up counters here. My copter will probably get countered. The other option would be to go ahead and play creatures. I could put out a Night Market Lookout and a Blood-Soaked Champion, but I'm a little more comfortable putting out a copter now. He's probably got a counter, but we'll see. The advantage to doing the copter first is that I can get the benefits of tapping something like the Night Market Lookout on the turn that it's cast that way. I'm not surprised to see that get countered, and I can pretty well handle it. Let's see if they'll let me play the Sword Point Diplomacy yet. Yeah, looks like a counter. Oh, but I get to cast it again. Okay. Okay, that's fine. And we'll go for more diplomacy. My opponent should not have a counter at this point. Right, so I got to do it, and what did they exile? I wasn't watching. They saw that it died there, okay. So I assume that my opponent is going to put out one of their blue repeatable creatures on my turn. And there's a good chance that they've got the land to do everything they want to do. Try some more diplomacy. Okay. So they can't put out their blue, so they're not going to go infinite on the next turn. That's good for me. And I will go ahead and cast Blood-Soaked Champion. And I guess they're probably just waiting for land at this point, but I'm not certain what else they need to assemble all their pieces. See if they can remand my sword point diplomacy again. Okay. They did not want to deal with Pack Rat. Let's see if I've used up enough of their counters to make a Smuggler's Copter stick. Looks like I have. So I can swing in with my Blood-Soaked Champion now. And my opponent is at 12. That card draw, the one removal that I got was sent to exile, and the Pack Rat was sent to exile. Okay, we know that my opponent is up to 6 mana now. There's a fair chance that they're going to cast something blue on my turn. I've got no answer for it. I can swing for 3, that'll do 2 more. I think we've gone too long and my opponent's probably got me. But we could still cast my stuff. Let's see, 1, 2, we're going to do this one. My opponent counter it if they want the bait. Then just coughing up my whole hand. But if they go infinite, it's not going to matter. Of course, now I've shown them that I don't have anything to cast if they do have their combo in hand. Crew that. It doesn't need everybody. That doesn't have to stop me from using all of these. I don't get anything out of having those other two tapped. So I will leave them available as potential blockers. I'll swing with the looter scooter. So I've got another turn, it looks like. Which is good. Because the alternative was probably me being dead. Slagstorm. 3 damage to each creature. Okay. That does pretty good. Huh. I've never even seen the card before. I guess it's a little more flexible than the Anger of the Gods. But it does wipe my board. So, good for you. I should have kept something in hand, apparently. So that ended up being huge in terms of card advantage for my opponent. I do have in the graveyard at least one Bloodsoaked Champion that I can bring back. That looks like my opponent's got me now, and I've got my family home, so I'm going to close it here. Thanks for watching.